Hello everyone. So let's get started with our very first topic, which is cross-site scripting. So, so what is cross-site scripting? So cross-site scripting is nothing but it's a injection. Okay, so it's a kind of injection where, like, suppose here is an attacker, and attacker injects some payload to application. Okay, so what happen actually using this payload, attacker is able to get victim details. Okay, the details include cookie session or maybe local storage details. Okay, or may be able to manipulate the website content, or may be able to hijack the keystrokes. So there can be many things. So basically it's a kind of injection. Okay, so what happens actually, the payload which attacker have, you can say the input into the application, is actually trusted by the application or actually trusted by the browser itself. Okay, so that's why it's allowing the payload to run in the application. Okay, so technically the payload can be entered into the input parameter, or it may be URL, it may be body, or it may be any header. So let me tell you in brief. Let me show how a sample request look like. So basically a sample request contains, firstly, the request method may be get, okay, maybe post, or maybe something else method. Okay, and here contains the URL parts. So suppose it's a any directory. Okay, and here HTTP version. So below are the headers, suppose post, refer, cookie, etc., and below is the body part. So here is a sample request. Okay, so how a sample request look like. So technically the payload can be entered in any of these part. Okay, suppose attacker has entered the payload in the URL part itself, or the any header in cookie, or any body part. Mostly the URL part and the body are targeted. Mostly the URL and body are targeted, because the URL part mostly gives us reflected XSS results, and the body uh, sometimes gives stored XSS results. So we will see this in part wise, like in reflected and stored one. Okay, I'm just telling you an idea. Okay, so why it is called why it is called cross site. Okay, so why can't we say like simple scripting, JavaScript scripting, like JavaScript, or you can say simple JavaScript injection? Why we are technically saying cross-site? Because uh, let me show you with example. Suppose here is the target, okay, and here is the attacker. Okay, here is the attacker. Suppose attacker has entered some payload and the payload is executing successfully. Okay, now what happens actually, if attacker wants to hijack some victim account or hijack some like victim details. Okay, so he or she needs to like send it to some other server like attacker.com. Okay, so it means the both the target are different. Okay, so that's why we called it cross-site, because we are sending details from one target to another according to like browser policies. This thing, like sending some details from uh, origin origin host or origin target or origin server to some other third-party server is called cross-site data transfer. Okay, so that's why we called it cross-site scripting. Okay, so S- sending data from the target to the attacker.com contains some policies like same origin policies. Okay, so you can like read from articles about it. Okay, so like there are like three type of same site policies, like non, or lax, or strict. Okay, actually we will see it in the securing part. Okay, actually it is like related to the securing and prevention, or preventing the cross-site scripting attacks. Okay, so basically sending data from origin server to third party server involves the like involvement of same origin policies. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so let's see the scenario how an attacker like attacks or targets victims in an application. Suppose this is the application. Okay, suppose this is the application, and here is the attacker, and suppose attacker injects a payload. Okay, so perform injection. Okay, so suppose in some input parameter the payload attacker has entered. Okay, now what happened, this payload has ability to hijack the cookies and session. Okay, now what happens, suppose there is a victim. Okay, from lot of other users. Okay, suppose one of user, say a victim, now entered a website. Okay, now what happens, the payload also like run on victim side as well. Now what happens actually, the payload is able to hijack victim cookies. Okay, like payload hijack victim cookies and send to attacker. Okay, so technically it send details to attacker.com or suppose any attacker server. Okay, so actually if you see, so the injection is performing on client side. Okay, so like it is just affecting the client side of browser. Okay, not the server side. So that's why we also call cross-site scripting as client-side injection. Okay, so it doesn't affecting server side. Okay, so the example of server-side injection are SQL injection because it is affecting server, it is affecting database. Okay, but the cross-site scripting is just affecting the browser itself, the client-side part. Okay, so that's the thing. So uh, actually, you may question like how is it is able to hijack cookies and sessions. So we'll see this in count takeover part. Okay, after the reflected stored and the DOM accesses, where we will see how an attacker can perform account takeover. Okay, so we will see that thing. Okay, so not an issue. Thank you.